Now in this video we are going to discuss about list. So as I explained earlier that list is something which can actually store different kind of data. It can store vector, it can store matrix, it can store data frame, and it can store a list itself. So here we will be using list function. So we will be using a list function, but before we create a list, we will be actually first creating a vector. So suppose I am creating a vector with 1 to 10. Then I will create a matrix which is a two-dimensional array. Then I will create then I will create a data frame. So if you remember, empty car was a inbuilt data frame, but we will take only first 3 observation and create a new data frame called mydf, and then we will actually store these vector, matrix and data frame in a list called mylist using list function. And once you create it, then you can see the result. You can see the output from mylist, which is for the first vector, my vector 1 to 10, then this is my matrix and this is my data frame. That's how you can do it. And if you see that right now there is no name, like 1 2 3 is only written as name of the list, but you can change those name as well. So using that name function you can change the name. So you are changing this to VC, MT and DF, and then once you see the output, then the name would be also changed. So let me quickly walk you through with the demo. So first we are creating my vector 1 to 10. Then I am creating a matrix using matrix function, which we learned in last video. Then similarly I am creating a data frame. So if you see, empty car is our old empty car data, where you can see all those 32 car brand and 11 attribute, but I am taking only the first 3 row. So if you remember, row comma column, so I am taking only the first 3 row and putting it into mydf, and then I am creating a list using the list function, and this is the output from list. As you can see, my vector, my matrix, my data frame. Now if you want to change the name as well, suppose you want to change the name as vector, matrix and data frame, and then once you change that and then you see the output, now your name is also changed. Now it says vector, then matrix, then data frame. So instead of that you can give any meaningful name as well, but this is how a list works. And that is actually end of the data structure. So if you remember what we discussed about, we started with vector, then after vector we learned two-dimensional array, which is matrix, then we learned about n-dimensional array, which is array, and those things were homogeneous. But then we learned about data frame, which is most commonly used, and then list. This was about vector, which is one-dimensional. We can create either numeric vector or character vector or logical vector. Then we learned about matrix using matrix function, so where you can give the column number and row number, and you can also specify whether you want to do it by row or by column. Then we learned about array. So we used array function and you can give the dimension. So like we saw 2 example. One is 3 cross 3 cross 3, another one is 2 cross 3 cross 4. And then we learned about data frame, and as I told you guys that data frame is something which would be used more times than any other data structure. So you can create a data frame using data.frame, or you can use a inbuilt data frame, or we would learn in our next videos that if you have a Excel spreadsheet, or you have a comma separated value, or you have a text file, then how to ingest, how to collect that data or import that data into R as a data frame. And then again you can apply all those function whatever we learned. Head, where we can see first several rows, we saw tail, we saw structure, str, we saw summary as well. We learned how to access any column. We also learned how to access a row, and then we learned how to drop a column, how to access a column using some condition subsetting as well. And then we also learned if you want to join two data frame by row, that also you can do, or you can combine two data frame by column, that can be done. And we also learned that any character variable, when it goes to data frame, it automatically converted to a factor. But if you don't want to do that, we will learn that we can change that thing from anything to anything. So here we discussed how to change anything to factor using as.factor, but later we will be learning that if you want to change it to as numeric or as character, the similar kind of function can be used and can be changed as well. And then we also learned how to change the name of the labels, like we changed it from male female to female male to F and M. And then the last one about the list, which can actually store different kind of data structure using list function. So next we will be learning about import and export data in R.